Okay, here's the Royal typewriter. Person emailed me and said that he has the letter E is sticking on his typewriter. And so this is going to be a general video on how to get keys from sticking. Okay, so the first thing that I like to do is I like to put a sheet of towels underneath the typewriter, and the part that generally this is going to be why it's sticking is because right in here it gets gummed up with dust, and if someone's oiled it in the past, the oil turns real sticky, and so right in here where the keys are sliding up is a good spot where it's getting stuck. Okay, and so one of the first things to do is I like to use this denatured alcohol. It's, I don't know, you can't drink it of course, but it's about 97% or % alcohol. So it cuts the majority of oil and dirt and grime out of those slots. It will just dissolve it and wash right through. And that's why we have some paper towels to soak up some. But the other thing is it dries real quick. And so it isn't very long at all before the alcohol has just evaporated from room temperature. And so what I'm doing now is I'm pouring a little bit in this little container, and then I have this. It's a kind of a soft brush here, and then what I do is I wipe it in here real good. And I really can't put too much in there because it's just going to wash through and go down through the machine. And so just wipe it in there real good. And then I start, working the keys. This one here, see how that one here is sticking there? But I just go through them all just in a nice general way, just to see that they're all working. And then so I remember this one here, which is a number 3 key, which is sticking. And so we're just typing, just hitting all the keys a few times each. You don't always have to have them so they hit the paper. There's no ribbon in this typewriter at all, because I really don't want the ribbon in right now. So I don't want some of the alcohol to splash on a ribbon that was installed on the machine. As it comes to the end, the key still works, but doesn't quite go up far enough, and that's why I do it with the paper, so that it goes much further up into the slot. Then I just, you can wipe some more in there. I usually don't pour it in there, because it's like there's no need to. It'd be like too much. But a healthy wipe and everything as you're doing this. And then we'll tap them out. And I'm just making a note of which keys are sticking and which ones aren't. So and it looks like the one that was doing the sticking the most, or at all. Now I have cleaned this typewriter already, with the keys and everything. So that's why it really is working pretty good right now. Sometimes you get them all so they all stick, and you gotta hit the keys, and then just keep working the keys. And sometimes if, let's say, like this number 3 key was sticking on us, and it's already loosened up. That was the key that was having an issue. But you can push down the 3 and then just wipe it right inside there too. If any of the keys right in there. And if it's real gummed up, you probably have to do that to all of them. If it's real gummed up and everything, where you're having a lot of issues with sticky keys. And so you can just wipe it on both sides of that, where that whole little slot is. And that's, generally that's where it's sticking. It can be sticking other places, all the linkage underneath there could be having a problem there. But this is where we're just dealing with it right here, which is going to probably be about a good 90% why it's sticking is right here. Now see, this one key here has gotten better just from using it. Now I haven't used any oil or anything. You really don't want to use a regular oil because it ends up attracting dust. And that's the one thing you don't want to attract is dust. But let's just say this key was sticking. Like it took care of it just by working this through like this. By clicking over and over again and then wiping it down, it actually took care of that one key that was sticking. And sometimes that worked, but once in a while your key, when you hit it, even when it's real clean, it will still stick. And what you can do is gently, all you're doing is gently, it may be wedging against the edge right here. Right, or this V mark here could be in that V and catching right there, just because of this key here sometimes gets bent a little bit and then it rubs against the edge and sticks. So all you have to do is try pushing it gently. It doesn't take much at all. Over to one side, and then try it again and see if it still sticks. Then you can try gently flexing it over to the other side and see if it sticks then. And I've fixed so many typewriter keys that were sticking that this was all nice and clean, but they were still sticking there. I fixed so many typewriters that got it worked out, because these should all work without any oil in there at all. And so that's what I do. Again, what you're going to do is the key's going to come up and stick on you, and that's after you've cleaned this out, unless you already know it's real clean. But after you clean this out, then you pull it this way a little bit, or you push it this way a little bit, and then go ahead and work the key some more over and over again. And when you're using this denatured alcohol, you want to be careful, because some keys have a full bottom on them. They have a full bottom, and so all that, you really want to either take the bottom off so that the alcohol can drip through the bottom. This is an open bottom typewriter, but some have they put a panel in there. And the other thing is that even though denatured alcohol is a real good solvent, there's some finishes, like this matte finish on this Royal typewriter, that it will actually remove the patina, change the color a little bit of the black or whatever color it is. Especially the high gloss ones, there shouldn't be a problem, but even with the black high gloss, sometimes there is a problem. So you want to be real careful with putting this alcohol on any place that you don't want it in there. And if you are going to use it as a cleaner, you want to check a spot maybe on the very bottom edge or something to see if you take a little bit of alcohol and rub it on here does the color come off in the rag, in the clean rag. You know, sometimes I've forgotten about that and just use the alcohol on the side, because it does work, and like 80% of the time it's going to work as a cleaner. But then other times, boom, all of a sudden I look at the rag and there's a bunch of blue or something on it. And then I say, oh, that's it. Got to be more careful. So that's how I would look at fixing a sticky key on a typewriter. And then, was there anything else? I think that's about it. You know, you let that dry. Okay, when this dries, sometimes you can put shoot some canned air in there or something to dry it out a little quicker if you're in a hurry. Normally what I do is I just leave for a while. And of course you want to use the denatured alcohol in a vented area where, you know, there's no flames, or, you know, nothing will catch fire on you. You know, and just be aware that this is flammable material and everything. So no smoking around it or anything. But what I do use for a oil, after this is nice and dried and everything, and all the keys are working, all the keys need to be working and everything just fine. And what I have used is I'll take this lubricant here. It's a greaseless lubricant, LPS1. They have different, I think they have a 1, 2, 3. And it's a non-oily lubricant. And I think it says here somewhere it doesn't attract dust, which is a very good thing. But so I'll take this, and this is an aerosol sprayer. So if I just took this and sprayed in there, it'd just make a mess. It would go everywhere, all over the place. And so what I do, instead of doing that, what I do is I take this little oil can and open it up, spray it gently in here, spray it gently in the oil can, and fill up this little oil can, and then I can come along here after this is nice and dry and just put a little oil in there, this greaseless oil, and then do the same thing with the keys and everything. You know, and to work it in there. I work through every single key and see that it's you know, just get it nice and coated. And the good thing about that too is that it is a greaseless lubricant. But just remember, all the keys should work before you put that on there. If you use any kind of sewing machine oil, all that's going to do is gum it up. The other thing is to actually keep the typewriter covered when you're not using it, so that dust doesn't fall in here just from household dust. You can take a towel and lay over it, or if you have a typewriter cover, plastic cover, you can cover it up. Anything that will just keep the dust from falling in here. Whenever you type and do any kind of erasing, or you want to erase it so that when you're erasing, it's over on the side here so it falls away from the machine. If you use that liquid paper, you want to be real careful with the liquid paper that you don't use so much that when you turn the roller and everything, it starts flaking off and going down in the pile. Just, you want to keep any debris, either from the liquid paper or from sand, erasing the mistake. You want to keep that off from falling into the basket in here. So keep your typewriter covered when not in use. And hey, this typewriter here was probably made in the late 50s. And, you know, I expect to see this typewriter still going to 2100, the 22nd century. They're great machines, and I just love them. Thank you for watching this video.